Welcome back to the channel. We are here once again with the PC that I christened as Not a Dell in the last video. The joke here is that this thing sort of started life as a Dell and it's no longer a Dell. So it's not a Dell. It's loaded out with a fresh installation of Windows 11 right now, and I have threatened in the past to do a video where I just show people my software loadout, just the stuff I prefer to have on my computers. And I thought we're probably not going to get a much better time than right now since this thing has literally nothing on it. So we'll go through and we'll do all that stuff, and really what it's going to be is how I like to customize my browser. I like to run Firefox, and I like to run some privacy tools and stuff like that that maybe you might be interested in as well. And then just some other free utilities and stuff that I like to use just for day-to-day things. Some of it you might think would be more for YouTube, like some image editing stuff and stuff like that, but I end up using that stuff anyway. It's just helpful sometimes. And then maybe one or two things that are YouTube specific. OBS Studio and Vegas Platinum are both already on here, and those are the two that would be the most YouTube specific. Vegas Platinum is what I use to edit the videos right now, and OBS Studio I need to make this video. Anyway, we'll get this guy fired up and we'll get going on things, and I'll just show you as I go and ramble along as I'm known to. Speaking of OBS Studio, that's what you're looking at. I know it looks a little weird. It's because it's doing a mirror and a mirror and a mirror thing. Weeza recording. That's the file that it's generated. I've also already installed Firefox because I just could not take any more Edge. Anyway, the very first thing we are going to do is we are going to secure a virus-free future, we hope. First thing off the bat is going to be Rogue Killer. Rogue Killer is just a handy utility that will kill some like spyware and things and stuff like that if it's already rolling. Also, always be careful when you're getting stuff for free, because when it's free, you are the product. This button right here is not what you want to do. They're trying to install Surfshark and all this stuff. It's just the way it goes. Anyway, there's Rogue Killer, and it is an application. There shouldn't be any actual installation. You just run it. Oh, I take it back. It looks like it is going to install. I don't think it used to be that way. Anyhow, sure, we'll let it start. I accept. Sure. Anyway, it's important to install your virus protection before you get a virus, because there's malware and viruses that will block your internet access, and then you're hosed. Oh, don't need a shortcut for it. It should be over here in all apps. Yep. So yeah, and it can do all kinds of active monitoring, stuff like that. I don't suggest you ever do any of that. Normally, the protection is worse than the virus in terms of performance and everything. I just like to have it here so it's ready if we ever would need it. Same story with Malwarebytes. And again, they're paid and free versions and all that stuff. We just want the free one. 14-day trial is a bunch of crap. It's a trial of their advanced features. Yeah, I thought maybe we could just tell it not to do it to begin with, but okay. Nope. We do not want the browser guard. We don't want any other active protection either. Anyway, while it's doing its thing, next thing, just since it's on my mind, I'm gonna have to be careful with the search for this one. Yeah, GIMP photo editor download. This is one of those programs that I use for YouTube things, but I also end up using for just all kinds of other stuff. Download it directly. It is poor man's Photoshop is what I would call it, but it's probably nowhere near as powerful. I am a bumbling moron and barely know how to use it, but I get it done. While it's downloading, let's go for LibreOffice. It is a free alternative to Office. It is based on OpenOffice, but it isn't as dumb, in my opinion. The Excel that comes in OpenOffice is unbelievably bad. Half of the formulas are different than regular Excel. And I want to say the way you start a formula is different. Like in an Excel cell, you would hit equals to begin entering a formula. That doesn't work that way in OpenOffice, or at least it didn't last time I used it. So I vastly prefer LibreOffice. Otherwise, it's fully compatible with regular Office. You can open Office documents with it. We'll get GIMP installing. While that's happening, yep, okay. Let's get after Seagate Disk Wizard. Those of you who have been here for more than just this video will know that I like Disk Wizard for creating backups. And the only requirement is that you have a Seagate drive in the machine. There is one in here, but I don't know if it's connected. It is not. So I have to plug one in real quick, or I don't even think Disk Wizard will install. Absolutely not. Oh no, that's bad. Is Rogue Killer actually open right now? It is not. That's bad. We'll have to figure out how to keep it from whining at us. It's not something it's ever done before. I also haven't installed any of this stuff in a while, so what was once good could now be garbage. Right, yep, finished GIMP. Do we have a Seagate drive showing now? We do. So we should be able to install Disk Wizard. And it's important we do this right away because as soon as we're done with our software setup, we're going to want to make a backup of the computer. And if you prefer some other brand of hard drive, Western Digital I think also uses Disk Wizard. So that's basically what, like 95% of the hard drive market. So one or the other. Yep, that's fine. Maybe later. Don't even want to do that. Be sure to turn all this crap off. Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, this is a premium trial. It'll just start complaining when this is over that you don't have the premium anymore. That's fine. Windows may be upset because we don't have virus protection anymore. No, it's just upset because I won't let it do stuff. Okay, that's good. We're not participating in anybody's feedback program if we can help it. So there's Disk Wizard. Ready to roll. Let's close it down. I don't know why it's thinking about that so hard, but anyway, goodbye. Looks like next up we'll install LibreOffice. Yep. We'll customize it. Actually, it looks like it's going to do what I want, so that's fine. So defaulting it to all those document types so it can just open them. I don't need a desktop shortcut. Oh, okay. Shut down Firefox. Oh, it's mad about everything. Okay, well, looks like that one's going to force a reboot on us, so anyway, we will catch back up in just a second. See if we have OpenOffice and all that stuff now. Or LibreOffice, we do. You've never seen this before. Like that's its Excel counterpart. So there you go. There's Excel for $0. Equals some. There you go. And it works just like Excel. It is a little old school. You don't have the ribbon bar. So if you've always hated the ribbon bar since like what, Office 2012 or something, you don't have to have it anymore. Anyway, poor man's Office. Always a handy thing to have around. Oh, another thing I like to do, I don't like the Windows Image Viewer. So I like to get something called Irfan View. It's been around forever. And apparently the guy that wrote its name is Irfan. Therefore, that is why it's called that. Do I even care about a 64-bit version? Not really. Yeah, this is another one of those super spammy websites. You know, the big download and all this crap here is for whatever this is. I have to come down here to get what we want. Well, that's weird. I guess, did I accidentally just download the plugins? Oh boy. These complaints are going to get old. Am I dum-dum? Let's try and get it from somewhere else just because I am a dum-dum. Looks like on Windows 10 11 we have to go through and individually select each file type later on, which is fine. Oh boy, we gotta get rid of this. This thing popping up and beeping at me every few seconds is not gonna do it. So really all I would want this associated with would be like probably JPEG and GIF. And it just has some cool things, like you can do some really basic editing right off the cuff. So you can rotate and resize and do some cropping and stuff like that just with Irfan View. It's just a handy, quick, lightweight tool. It'll also run slideshows, which is kind of handy sometimes. I've already been at a car show and run a slideshow on my laptop of the pictures I took earlier that day at the same show. So that was fun. Just people sitting around and looking at different stuff that maybe they didn't get a chance to see or whatever. Anyway, just a little lightweight tool I like to have. Before we go any further, let's see what's up with those Rogue Killer alerts. Because if Rogue Killer is now just a big piece of spam, I don't want you guys thinking that it's a thing to do. So I'm going to spend a few minutes and look into that. So it looks like we can just change it in the settings, but it still tends to complain, I guess, about automatic updates. Oh, absolutely not. Do not start when the machine starts. Do not. Alright. That's fine. So hopefully by not starting when the machine starts, that'll also relieve some issues. What's on my mind? Let's see if there's a similar thing with Malwarebytes where I can just tell it to shut up. Nope. At least change our privacy setting there. Yeah. Yeah, we can turn off some of these annoyograms. Nope, don't want it to launch at startup either. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Okay. Alrighty, let's get into some browser customizations. This is whatever the current version of Firefox is. Let's go to Tools and Add-ons. First thing, Ad Block. That is our guy. Now I can hear some of you already where you're watching on a platform that is supported by ads and the creators that are supported by ads. The thing is, it's not a very good deal for the creators anyway. For me to make $1 from YouTube, YouTube has to make $2 from ad revenue. And people are either going to run ad blockers or not run ad blockers anyway. My suggestion is if you somehow feel guilty about running an ad blocker, I think there are whitelist settings. Well, you can whitelist pages. Anyhow, there are ways around it. Personally, I don't suggest you use any of them. I think the world's a better place with less advertising. What I suggest is if you like a creator, myself included, send them a little bit of cash directly. There's an email address in the description of all of my videos. It accepts PayPal. If you send me 20 bucks, you will cover yourself for both of our lifetimes of providing me with more income from your viewership than YouTube ever would from ad revenue. That's the whole idea of things like Patreon and all that stuff too. If you prefer to not run an ad blocker, that's up to you. Go for it. But that's my whole ethical spiel on it, is if there are people you like, creating stuff you like, give them your money directly. Don't let YouTube do it and have a better experience for yourself in the end. Anyway, another big one I like is Ghostery. It's a privacy tool. It basically blocks out all of the ad servers and crap like that. It is completely amazing how much outright spam and advertising trackers there are out there. Let's go to CNN. Yeah, look at this. You know, Amazon advertising, the Video Bounce Exchange, Twitter advertising, you know, all this crap. They're selling everything they can extract from your browser to all these people, all these entities. You know, and these, any site that has no revenue capability of its own, like I don't know if you can buy CNN Plus or whatever, is just full of this sort of spam. So again, when it's free, you are the product. Like I'm sure the people at Ghostery somehow generate money off of me too. Just so I'm not accused of playing any kind of favorites. Fox News is just as bad. You know, you can see they're selling all your information to everybody they possibly can. How many blocked ads? Just ridiculous. That reminds me of another fun thing. With the ad blockers, you can actually set custom rules. So these stupid information boxes and fact check boxes that appear under videos whenever YouTube feels like it, I can right click on those, go to ad blocker, and select that element. And it's gone. So for 2 or 3 years now, I haven't seen any of those things in my day-to-day browsing experience. Like if I open these, I probably won't see anything under the video, so I guess I do. Oh. Let's see if that catches them all or if I'm just setting it wrong. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, basically any page you go to with some sort of an annoying element like that to it, you can just right-click and disable the element, and then you never see it again. I don't want to cause any controversy here. You can think what you want about all these subjects, but if you're tired of people screaming in your face about them, you can tell them to shut up if you want to. That is what those tools are great for. Another thing I like to have, I think it's Easy Video Downloader. Video Download Helper. It's the one I roll with. And the reason I like this guy isn't because I'm trying to, short anybody their views or, do anything nefarious. It's because a lot of the time, it's because I end up going places that have really garbage internet access, and I can download like long format, like YouTube shows, and be able to watch them when I have no internet access. So that is why it is handy. It is also handy as a creator. So if I want to sample a part of somebody else's video, of course I would give them credit if I did that. It's an easy way for me to get it. I like having it. Another thing I like having, sponsor block. This is another one that might be controversial. You could say, what are you doing, you big hypocrite? Because the day could very easily come where I have sponsors. I kind of already have. What sponsor block does is it is basically crowdsourced ad skipping for stuff that is not ads. I don't know. Almost everybody that's big has them. Let's try. Yeah, Good Mythical Morning. I don't know if they do them a lot or not. I'm not a regular viewer. I just know they're a huge channel. Yeah, but you can see the channels do these highlights right there that you can just skip over because you're going to see it later in the video. And intros and live reads and stuff like that. Let's go. Mr. Beast has them quite a bit. And keep in mind, I'm not besmirching these people.
We just hit 100 million!
Ugh. I'm not besmirching these people. That's the name of the game, right? This is the hustle. This is how you make the money. But if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. And here you can see, sponsor, sponsor, sponsor. Whether or not those are all actually sponsors, who knows? Here's a highlight you can jump past if you want. And let's say right there there was a
Red light.
Let's say right there was a sponsor. You just hit the start button. You go to wherever it stops, hit the stop button, you go over to submit, and then that's where you select a category for what it is. Unpaid self-promotion, subscribe, comment, and subscribe. I know it's part of the hustle. I do it too. But if you don't want to hear it every time somebody says it, there you go. Anyway, it's a fantastic plugin. I really like it. That's why I run it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And again, if you want to give somebody money, just send them money. That's the best way to do it. Speaking of best things, another one, YouTube dislike. Turn YouTube dislike. This isn't a perfect thing, but it works reasonably well. Again, we'll pick on Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast is, hugely popular. Almost 20 million subscribers, 8.5 million views on this video, 4.2 thousand dislikes. That's pretty good. He's knocking it out of the park. But it's nice to see this, and this is usually just an estimation. It sends your dislike and like data and everybody else's, and it crowdsources this number. It tends to get it wrong. Usually it aims on the low side, and I've heard as much as by like a 4x ratio. I can't use my own content to judge that because I don't get enough views to make an accurate statistical judgment. But anyway, it's better than nothing. It's really helpful if you're looking for an instructional video and you can still see this big lightsaber. That usually means the person doesn't know what they're talking about and you should move on. So anyway, that's a handy one I like to have. Anyway, I think I've hit the high notes. Let's go to some of my customization settings and things. Privacy and security. I'm going to set it for strict. And if it gives me trouble, then I'll worry about it. I always set it to do not track. So if you've watched any of my videos where I do stuff like this before, you'll see the cookies thing always pops up and asks me. This is why. Because I always set that to that. Suggestions from sponsors? Absolutely not. Yeah, I turn all these settings off usually. I will tell them if I want to. Oh, autoplay's a big one. Always turn autoplay to blocked. Yep, of course. Oh yeah, that's another one I forgot. Even though Firefox has its own pop-up blocking, it's not always that good. I think that's the guy I usually roll with. Yep, that's it. Back to Firefox settings. No, they can harvest none of this information from me. Do not run studies. Yeah, warning about deceptive content is a good thing. Certificates is a good thing. I don't enable that. I still like to have the search bar here. Although you can just type stuff here and search, I still like to have it over here sometimes. Just what I'm used to. You can set it to whatever default you want of these. Most days I just roll with Google. It's terrible for privacy, but still the best search engine out there. I absolutely hate when it suggests different search engines. It drives me insane. So I always get rid of them all. So those are fine. Firefox home content, we're going to want to customize that because we don't want sponsored crap. I don't want stuff recommended by Pocket. Pocket's like a kind of a weird Firefox service, like a news push service. And these are all just ads, basically. So we can get rid of that. See, now it's gone. And then we can, these are things that I've gone to. Well, whether or not I've been to Amazon, I'm not sure, but I buy all kinds of crap from Amazon, so it's fine if that guy stays. We've been at all these recently, so that's why they're here. I'll never return to these. You can get rid of them if you want. You can dismiss them, and it'll just keep rolling more stuff through. These are like bookmarks that it calculates for you. It'll know the places you go the most often, and it'll put them here. So when you start a fresh browser or start a fresh tab, it just drops them there, so that's a thing you can do if you want. Some people prefer a dark theme. I've been contemplating switching. I'm not so sure. Kind of old school like that. But this is where you change it. If you have gigantic monitors, it can be nice to zoom down. That's a bit too far. That was a huge mistake. Yeah, like this is a 32-inch monitor I'm using right now. I can pretty comfortably get away with 80%. And where you can change where you download and stuff like that. Here you can specify what applications you want for what files and what behaviors and stuff like that. Play DRM content. Yeah, that's fine. Turning on and off automatic updates for Firefox. If you turn them off, it just complains non-stop that there's an update available. I mean, it'll pop up like every hour and tell you there's an update, so just leave them on. That is also annoying because half the time you'll go to restart Firefox and it'll take an extra minute to restart. You're like, what the hell? It's because it was installing updates. And sometimes it breaks your plugins when that happens. I've just learned to accept that that's a Firefox thing. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and turn those off. I don't need it recommending stuff while I'm busy. Okay. So I think that's going to round up my Firefox preferences. We'll just shut it down, restart it. Yep, that's pretty much what we want. On a very short timeline, those will populate to the things that I go to the most. Alrighty, so I think that pretty much hits the high notes. For me, I'm going to pin GIMP to the start because I'll use that all the time. And by the way, I'm getting used to that immediately in Windows 11. This is actually much more useful than the old start menu. So I will use GIMP a lot because I use that to generate thumbnails. And the rest of the stuff is just kind of an occasional use thing. And I just remembered a piece of software we definitely want, and that is TerraCopy. TerraCopy rules. TerraCopy is a free copy software that basically replaces the Windows copy and paste dialog. It is much faster than what comes with Windows, and it also has a data verification. So when it's copying your files across, it will verify bit by bit as it goes. Yeah, sure, those all sound fine. In addition to just being faster than Windows, since I make videos, I'm always dealing with just giant files. So TerraCopy is a big helper. Let's change some settings. Yeah, we definitely want it as our default. And check free space so it'll warn you before it'll start. I'm going to default it to always testing after a copy. Always on top is a little annoying for it. On finish, we'll just have it closed. Okay. Try and illustrate, we'll see. So we're just going to copy this guy right here. Let's make a new folder. And what I'm looking to do is make it do that automatically with TerraCopy, and it did not. So me manually saying it is kind of a pain. But that was a full verified copy. Okay, so this is a me problem. What we're going to do is disable show next time. So now it should just do that every time. Let's try a different file. Sweet. Okay, neat. Clean up our downloads too. Just kind of giving this a quick eye to make sure we installed all these. Okay. Now we are ready for Disk Wizard. Select source. We're gonna do the whole PC. Select destination. It's weird as my external drive is plugged in. Options. I always like to turn off compression, all that crap, because I don't care. I'd rather Have performance versus size. Validation is a good thing to have. Backup splitting I don't want. I guess automatic's fine. I'd prefer not to have it. Whatever. There we go. Performance. Compression level, none. That's what we want. Save as default. Okay. Backup now. Probably won't take it too terribly long to do that, but all the same, you guys have seen this before. There you go. All done. And speaking of, I think that's going to be the end of this video. I think that's all the software I want on the thing. That's my pretty typical standard everyday loadout. And browser customizations, you know, I may have missed one or two things or whatever, but that's more or less what I like to do. Just because it's this way right now doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. Basically, this is just my starting point. And now that I've got it started, come to think of it, let's get rid of our USB drive. Oh, I guess it's still open. Yeah, so get the USB drive off of power as soon as I can. It's always a thing I try to do. But yeah, otherwise that's going to be about it for this guy. Oops, I forgot a couple. Next one that's pretty important to me is going to be 7-zip. And it's just handy if you run into like various weird file types like RAR and even .7z files are out there. 7-zip will just handle pretty much all of them. So we'll get it downloaded. Good. Okay, no big deal. So here I've created a compressed folder, which is just a zip. If I right click on that, I can go to open with and create a context menu here. Choose another app. You can see I've got mine defaulted to 7-zip console. Before in this list, I didn't have 7-zip file manager here. If yours does, that's fine. Just go ahead and click that and then always use this if you always want to use 7-zip. If you don't have that as an option, look for another app on this PC. Program file 7-zip. 7ZFM is the 7-zip file manager. So click OK. And here, since that's just an empty folder, you're not going to see anything in it. But that is how it works. And the other one I want to do is hide Volume OSD. So that's going to hide this. So when you adjust the volume and it comes up with an on-screen display, that annoys me to no end because I use my PCs as movie players and such. So if there's a particularly loud scene in a movie and I'm turning it down on the keyboard remotely, I just find it to be a distraction from the movie to see it. You know, I can hear it, so I know it's working. We'll try to get it from Softpedia. We have to be careful what we click on here because it's another super spammy one. Like that right there is maybe not what we want. I think we're probably okay there. Okay, there it is. Yep. I don't really need an icon of it in the system tray to know it's there. That doesn't sound good. Did it work anyway? It did not. Okay, so it looks like there's version 1.3 available now that has been handed off to a different author. So let's go grab that from this link. And I found it via here. Okay, let me try and uninstall the one we have. Okay, not going to reboot or anything. We're just going to go straight to this guy. We're going to try run as administrator right from the start. I read elsewhere that this is completely normal just because the guy that took over this open source software, doesn't have like licensing from Microsoft. So run anyway. Did it work? Nope. All right. I'm just going to assume this is not yet available for Windows 11, which sort of sucks. Weirdly, it just popped that up on its own. I didn't do anything. It keeps doing it. Okay, that's me. Yeah, same problem. All right, so I'm just going to install that and we will just pretend it never happened. I'm going to keep it in the video just so people are aware that that add-on exists. So it's something I've really enjoyed having in Windows 10. I'll be bummed if I can no longer use it. The next thing for it is to get a video capture card installed in it. I'm way overdue to get that done. I'm like 6 weeks behind on my actual, my personal agenda to get that knocked out. So that is probably going to be the next time you guys see this thing. As always, appreciate you guys stopping in for this video. We will catch you on the next one. I'm Max C. Saddington Bear, and if you like that video, hey, like the video. If you'd like to watch some more of them, here's some more for you. And if you want to come back and watch more, always consider becoming a subscriber. And we'd like to thank you once again from the bottom of both our hearts for stopping in.